I mean, especially with our first one there, have been around forever.
Yeah. So EU, the nice thing about during the offseason is most of the rosters have stayed pretty standard. They've just kind of swapped one player around, which makes it a little bit easier for us.
Yeah, a little bit.
NA was like, NA's like, let's take all of our players, let's put them in a hat, shake up the hat, and then we're just going to pull out names. And there we go. Yep. Except for like a couple teams. So EU is a little bit more consistent in their rosters, but with major changes, we'll go through these guys a lot faster. First one up, Flipside Tactics, everybody's favorite. Probably my favorite, again, to win the LAN. They just look super strong. Haven't been playing that good in tournaments online, but they show up when it matters. They have never failed to play amazing during RLCS.
You know what? Here's the issue, is these online community tournaments are usually single elimination.
Right.
Flipside Tactics really good when they're in the lower bracket.
Yeah, they like that.
But they don't have that on the community ones. So if they get dropped out early, they're just
flick flax.
The flip flop
as you
flip
go.
fly tactics.
Yeah, flip fly. I love that video.
Flip flop tic tacs.
Yes. So Flipside, definitely a number 1, number 2. Current PR ranking is number 1 in EU, rightfully deserved, as they have always made it to the LAN finals, and they've taken first in the second LAN and second in the first LAN. I got them backwards, but they look super strong.
They're really, really good.
They're super good. Super good. Greasy, Cookser, Markey. Good players. Have some of the best players in the world on their team. Pretty strong. Mocket came back in. They were known as the French Baguettes. They got picked up by Mocket. Couldn't say no to the money. Fairy Peak, K-Dop, and Mystic. Looking really strong
They are
as
looking
well.
so good. Fairy Peak, solid ones player, but suddenly you put him in a team with K-Dop and Mystic. Mystic really gruesome cojones from the RLCS Season 2.
Yeah.
Before, he was looking like a weaker person when he was playing on Northern Gaming. But when he came in, he showed up, and he knew what he needed to do on the field. Even when he seemed nervous on stage sometimes, that guy can carry himself. And honestly, hands down, my favorite guy to interview. I was so happy getting to interview him.
Yes. Something that people do not give enough credit to Mystic for. Mystic is very well composed under pressure, as well as when it comes in front of a camera. Like, he kind of came out like when we talk about into the scene itself, like, he may be well known by other top players, but for the general audience, the people that are watching the stream and stuff, Mystic was a nobody coming in. And for him to come in and say, all right, I'm here to stay, he plays well, he supports that team, and then they make it to second place at the LAN, like, Mystic has earned a lot of respect from a lot of people because of it. So Mystic still showing up on another top team is fantastic. Fairy Peak, super underrated. He's almost robotic in his play. Really likes long shots. Cookster showed in a 1v1 that if you play really good defense, you can shut him down with counterattacks. But it doesn't matter when you got someone like K-Dop following you up. K-Dop, once again, also came from Precision Z, wasn't it? I think it was PZ.
It was Red Eye, wasn't it?
PZ, no. Because he was at LAN.
Those two teams confused me because they flipped their rosters.
Yeah, PZ. Yeah, Precision Z. Thank you.
PZ.
Yeah, so was on Precision Z. Really, really strong. Great aerials. Fantastic offense. Great team. They remind me a lot of God, what's that team? With almost like Genesis even. You got Crumlin back, which is your Mystic, and then you got 2 offense players, Classics and Insult, Fairy Peak and K-Dop. I just think they're more talented on the market side.
Solid, yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff on Mocket. Really like that team. That's probably the biggest team to pay attention to.
Yeah. Flip side, Mocket, top 4 spots for sure.
Yes. Next team up, Team Secrecy. A lot of people don't know about one of the players on this team. Magus has been a player that I've paid attention to, but
I've seen him a bit, yeah.
Has always been like a bubble player, like top 15 teams roughly. He kind of hovered in that area, but Metzenaris is stupid good. We saw him on Air Reality, I think.
I saw him playing with another team before. Yeah,
Air Reality is where we know him from.
He's always kind of been in the background there.
Yeah, Air Reality is a team that was kind of like that team everybody beat up on, and then they had a couple good games. You're like, oh, okay, they got some potential, and then they would like get beat up again later. But a lot you guys should know. A lot used to be playing for a certain team that we knew and loved.
My only issue with a lot is consistency. He can do incredible things. I still remember this one shot he got from the corner, upside down, and then flipped forward, shot from the corner
right
into the net, found the angle on it. Like, a lot is extremely talented, but there are times where he just like you need to punch him in the face sometimes to get him to do his job. Like it's just like a lot. What are you doing? We know you can do better. Please do it. And he'll usually step up if he can find that consistency. I honestly think a lot is one of the best players in one of the top, not the best, but one of the top guys now in EU. He doesn't have that consistency. I don't think.
Yeah. The only thing is like a lot of teams have like a honeymoon phase period too, and I think that's what Market is now going to have to find out before we like keep moving on.
Right. Yep.
I was talking to Pashy, and Pashy was kind enough to remind me again. So shout out to Pashy, thank you. They actually lost to two teams that are like top 12-ish, like the 10 to the 12 spots. So they came in super strong, had honeymoon phase, blew everybody away, and then
it happens.
And then they dropped to losing teams, and I feel like they'll bounce back up a little bit, and that's when they'll kind of settle. And it happens to every team. There's always that honeymoon phase where we play out of our minds because we're all on this high, and then we drop down a little bit. So,
yep.
But yeah, moving along. Team Secrecy, they look good.
Yeah, top 8. I think they'll fight. They'll fight for the top 8 spot, but top 8.
Yep. Now this next team, I'm actually really excited to talk about Penta eSports. So Penta, not sports, eSports, just sports.
Penta Sports. So
Penta was a team that a lot of people thought were going to make it into the top 8 last season, but fell short. Their team was like the epitome of, we don't have the best mechanical skill, but our chemistry is fantastic, and we bust our butts and practice really hard. And they showed that it was possible.
They had GMS on their roster before with Pondex and Freaky, and now Killer number 7 is taking in that slot.
Right.
You mentioned Freaky before. Freaky just tried around on a few rosters, and he was so thankful that his teammates on Penta took him back.
Right.
And that just shows a really good team chemistry that's going on there. Like, these guys are mature enough to say, hey, it's a business. This guy wanted to try these things, realized none of them worked, wanted to come back to us. He fits us. Let's take him. That's a mature team right there, and that's going to go a long way, I think. Penta deserved, I think, to be in a top 8 spot, and they're showing it now.
Yeah, there is an issue, though. There seems to be a little bit of resentment. Like, they do want to split up, but they realize the big picture. And that says a lot, like you said, about the team is despite possibly wanting to split up, they're still willing to stick together and fight it out. Expect this team, if they don't make top 8, to split up immediately. But Freaky is super underrated.
Guys, you see it with, again, like with, as I just said, they're a mature team. They know it's a business. They know if it's not working, they want to move to something else. Freaky already tried doing that. It makes sense that if things don't go right, they'd end up trying some new options. You want to get paid. You want to make money. You want to be the best. You can't do that if you don't try new options. Right. Whether it's with your team you try new options, or you try new options with other people. I still do think there's a big significance in sticking together through things. But, I mean, if you really think it's not working, you got to try new stuff.
Right. A lot of talent on that team, though. I honestly think they can make top 8.
Penta?
Freaky's super underrated.
I think this is their best chance to make top 8 now. I mean, like, if they're not going to do it now, as a team, like, the teams are just getting better and better.
Yeah.
You have to do it now.
Yeah. Next team up, team that took 3rd and has loved taking 3rd for some reason. Northern Gaming.
Top 4 for sure, but
they're good. They no longer have Mystic because he went to Market, but they picked up Devo.
So we talked before about, sometimes teams just throw good players together, and it's like, it might not be a good idea. When I heard this one, I'm like, yes. All of the yes, please. That is a Texas-sized hell yes.
It's a lot of talent on that team. Remco and Meister, probably the best duo in the game. Those two together are insane.
I don't know a better duo.
And then you throw in a guy who has some of the best shot options. My problem is that's a lot of offense.
You don't have any problems.
That's a lot of offense.
Yeah, but guess what?
I can see problems.
It's Maestro and Remco, man.
I can see problems.
Maestro is a god at scoring. Remco, just feed him the ball. It's there. Remco, I used to call it the Remco. When you the Remco recorrect, I called it. Because when that guy's in the air, I think there was a shot recently I saw you commenting. We're like, I don't know how he does it.
Yeah,
if he's in the air and he hits the ball once, and he's flying that way, you can be sure as hell he's coming back to hit it again.
Yeah, he played it. How. It was it happened at the Lien where Remco he hits the ball, pops up, goes upside down. The ball is going this way, and he boosts upside down backwards and hits it, and has the awareness to put it past Pashy.
Yeah, it's like
dumb.
He's nuts in the air. Like both these guys have very specific skill sets that they're good at. And so does Devo, and I think that's going to work. None of these skill sets are overlapping in each other.
Right.
Devo is fast because what we talked about before, the fact that he's 2 steps ahead of people, he's patient, he waits, and he can set up those plays. When he's given the ball off the backboard, we've seen him do some crazy things. I think there's a bit of a chemistry issue with them right now. They weren't hitting exactly the strides they wanted to, but it's the same thing with NRG. I think if you give them enough time coming into league play, they're top 8 guaranteed.
There's too much talent on that
team.
I
will give away all my money in my life if they don't make top 8. Like, that's guaranteed they're making top 8.
Yeah.
But I think they'll just need a little bit of time to finish up that chemistry. But Maestro, Remco are smart players. Devo's a young, impressionable player. I really think this team is a top 4 for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty dang hard to stop those guys from getting in. I'm curious to see what they're... I mean, Remco and Maestro, like you said, have they're very distinct play styles. And I think in order for them to get better, they may have to change it up a little bit. I think there's an issue, actually, with those two, the way that they play right now. Because I think Remco is actually a lot better on defense as a player.
Well, that's why you filled Devo into that spot.
Yeah.
If Remco can just start feeding the ball to Devo, there you go. You still got a goal scorer.
Right. So they can make it work. I think they have a lot of potential. That team's so scary to play against.
It is a scary roster, especially.
The problem is like there's this thing they have against Flipside where they just can't beat Flipside. Like they know like, okay, we play Flipside, so we lose. Like it's just their mental, like they know mentally that they're not going to do it.
And that's something they have to get past. I mean, if you want to be the best, that's a demon you have to kill.
Yep.
Final consensus on Northern Gaming?
The top 8 easily. No problem with top 8.
A top 4 spot?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Liefx eSports.
Liefx eSports. Grandmaster 60, originally of Penta, now over. Jasor, not being a sub anymore, is going to be part of the starting roster.
Oh, really? I would have thought...
What? Let me see some moys in chat, boys. For
I would have thought Super Krazak and Sexy for sure.
Jasor has been playing a lot more. You saw him compete in 12 Titans. And actually played pretty dang well.
All right, but I feel like it's because he went into it not expecting to win it. He played with the Merc.
Yeah, and he still almost won.
I mean, well, that's the take 3 effect right there.
Right. Those are the moys. You guys love your boy Jasor. No matter what, hopefully Jasor gets in simply because that's a lot of fans spamming Moy, which I can't wait. I would love to see his interviews as well. He's like, Moy guys, as soon as he gets his interview from Face Cam. But
this is the team I like. GM Sexy is
he's adaptable.
He's an incredible person to hang out with too. Like that's my boy right there, GM Sexy. I really hope for these guys to make a top 16 for sure. A top 8 is going to be a fight. I really want to see Jasor play with these guys. I think it's going to be weird seeing them mix into that. But I mean, if they did it for a reason, or this is just wrong.
Right.
But GM Sexy, Jasor, Krazak's such a strong player too. I think him and GM Sexy have a good chemistry. We'll see how Jasor fits in the mix. Fight for top 8, but they're a real contender for the top 8 for sure. Top 4, a little bit more iffy.
Agreed. Going on to the next team.
The next team, I actually love this name, Pocket Aces. You think they could have done Rocket Aces and people still got the joke?
Probably.
Like take it one step further. Pocket Aces. This is going to be fun. Violent Panda, Pashy. These two already have good chemistry. They were playing super well at LAN. Honestly, mock it at LAN when they had Devo on the team. I was actually thinking they were about to take it, to be honest. And then, of course, Flipside went down in Lower's bracket, and I'm like, oh, it's all over. They're going to make the run through.
Right.
But Pocket Aces...
I've never seen a team, like, been able as an analyst to, like, sit back, look at a team, like, they're not going to lose. Like, confidently be like, they will not lose.
Yeah. So
Flipside was stuff. That run was stupid.
So here's the thing with Pashy. Pashy knows how to build a damn good team.
Yeah.
Every time Pashy's built a team, it's been a scary team.
It's been a contender for
It's
sure.
It's been a team that you're like, oh, I don't want to play against these guys right now.
Right.
Pashy knows how to build a team. Violent Panda, he also found his stride he was loving land, and I know he wants more.
Right.
Every time I saw that guy, he had a smile on his face, and he was ready to go again. I think those two have a really good chemistry together. Adding Tzedek into the mix. Tzedek, a French player, is incredible. This guy was the team he was on. I forget what team it was. He was on. Was it season 2? But he was hands down the strongest player on their team, and we saw it. We're just like, oh, look at this guy.
Like when like, God, why can't I brain? When Red Eye was like on, they were super good. Like same thing with Precision Z. A lot of people did not count them as like a threat,
Mm-hmm.
and then they played to their potential, and they're like, "What the frick just happened?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're talented." Like Shawset, I think was just one of those players that didn't get a chance to really show his potential, and I think this team will do that. Like,
100%.
Pasha played defensive. Violent Panda's a great setup. Shawset, fantastic.
What I said,
on
Pashy is really good at bringing the best out in people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we saw. Where did Devo come from? Pashy
Right.
brought him into the mix. Whereas, this is going to be the time for Shazette. We know Shazette. We know him. And this is going to be his time to shine. Pashy's really good at letting people on the field do what they do best.
Right.
Pashy is such a smart player that he knows his skill set. He'll get in there when he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
But if his teammates are doing a good job, he's going to let them do a good job.
Right.
He knows that they can do this. So I honestly think Pocket Aces is a real contender for a top 4 slot. We'll have to see how Shazette plays. Honestly, that's going to be the big determining factor, I think. But if he's on point, and Pashy's right about that pick, it's a top 4 slot for sure, but hands down top 8.
Right. Thing we forgot to mention too, Northern Gaming. Turbo is taking a break this season. I do think he's way too good to be a sub.
No, yeah, hands down. Turbo's a solid player. But, I mean, if you want to take a break, that's not a bad place to take a break
Right.
as a sub, right?
Right. They may have to use him. I keep going to that. Sorry.
So Red Eye.
Yes, down to Red Eye. Red Eye has been updated just a bit. The only one that is new for that team is Skyline, who has gone through some name changes over the times, but Skyline is super underrated, super good. Used to play for Precision Z.
Okay, Axel Toss.
Or Wavepunk, or literally everybody.
Skyline, the dominus, man. That guy's quick, and that guy can shoot. That guy can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
He's solid. Dedu as well. Tequila's again. We've seen all these guys when they were in league play.
The thing right there, everybody. Look.
Thank you, Brobo. Love you.
That's a solid lineup, actually. I mean, Red Eye was fighting pretty hard, more than people thought they would in season 2, and I think they're a real contender for. I mean, it's so hard. EU's got so many good teams right now. Red Eye is a top 8 contender.
Mm-hmm.
I think like sitting around that 7-8 spot. I think they'll get through top 16 easy. Not easy, but like they'll get through top 16.
Right.
And it'll be a 7-8 kind of spot for Red Eye.
I agree. Red Eye has a really good chance. I think Skyline's actually good. A good replacement. He fits the same style that Shawset did.
Mm-hmm.
So good plays all around. Good offense. Also, Majidab, thank you so much for the resub. Make sure you guys drop some love in chat for him and Brobo, as well as the rest of the subs. And all of you guys in chat. Give yourself a round of applause. You guys are
Everybody, yay!
super
Deeper. Parhelion.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Parhelion.
Parhelion.
Why
That's Frizish.
Yeah.
I Ignite and Gontho.
So Gontho's a new one. He's always been a bubble team as well, 9th to like 12th roughly. Yes, this will all be exported and uploaded to YouTube, you guys. And I'll do it in parts so it's not too crazy. But yes, if you guys do miss this, don't be afraid to check it out on YouTube. !social will give you all the social media links. Make sure you guys go sub to that, make it easy on you. But I will export these as soon as I can. But yeah, so Parhelion, Ignite has been a player that, like, all these guys are bubble players except for Frizish.
Frizish.
Yeah, Frizish.
Americans and their enunciations.
We do what we can, man. But yeah, he has experience. Obviously, went to the LAN finals as a sub for Precision Z. Got that one. But yeah, this is a team that has something to prove. You know, like they're all really good players, but how well they mesh together and how well they can play against the other squads is different. That's one thing that's really tough about both teams this season or this year even. There's a lot of teams that can make it. It just depends on how you play that day.
Yeah, these guys are going to be a top 16. Top 8 though is really going to be, and if you say like again, there are a few slots. So they've got
to beat out a lot of strong
we've gone
teams.
through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams that we think are going to be top 8 teams.
Right.
So at this point forward,
the only one I think that might be a little bit iffy there is Liefx eSports.
Yeah, but even at that, there's one slot left that we think.
Right.
And I think we're getting to the point at the teams that it's like any of these teams could get in that bottom top 8 slot. I think those top 5 are pretty much guaranteed. We know up to Northern Gaming who's going to get that. And these last few teams here are really going to be fighting. Like, right. EU has some crazy competition right now. Yeah. Parhelion is one of those teams that, like, if I had to say someone's not going to make it, it'd be them. They're going to be top 16. Top 8 is going to be a stretch.
Right, and to reiterate, all these teams will be fighting for those spots. Like, we'll probably see a lot of these teams fighting for, like, that top 8 spot on stream. So you may see a couple of these teams actually twice on stream because they drop to the lower and then fight back again. So next team, Tablecloth, fantastic name, and big shout out. Bluey is now 15, and he can compete. Bluey is now old enough to compete in the RLCS. I'm
excited to see him play.
That's the big thing that I am paying attention to. Is how will Bluey... Yeah, that's the big thing right there. I would like to see how he competes on the big stage.
I agree.
I want to see how he does in league play.
I just want...
because his 2 teammates are league play vets. With Doomsy and Sebadom, this is team interview. This team will crush interviews if they
I just want Doomsy to make it to a LAN.
I mean, he made it to the last one, just not on a team.
Not on a team.
Yeah. Close, right?
That's my hopes. Honestly, this is a solid team. I would put them above Parhelion for making a top 8 slot.
I agree.
It's so weird to see the Supersonic guys split up like this, but I think it'll be good for them, and I'm excited to see how all of those players are going to play on the refreshed teams now.
Right.
And with Sebadom, Doomsy, Bluey, there's a chance for a top 8 for them. I think more so than some of these other bottom ones and honorable mentions for sure.
Yes. Tablecloth, I think, has a good chance. I think they have a better chance than Parhelion. I think they have a better chance than Lief. I would put them as like a top 8 team. There's a lot of potential on the team. Doomsy and Seb are really good. Doomsy, with the help of Gregan, changed his play style to a lot more passive, a lot more defensive, and just surveyed. Kind of like Fireburner. Like, he just kind of sits there and waits, either clears it back up, or he's not afraid to move up and take a shot. The issue is like he's been actually too afraid to move up and take a shot because he has to be that last man back. And I think someone like Bluey is going to allow him to be a little bit more aggressive. I think it'll work out really well.
Leftovers.
Yes, the Leftovers. Great name and the reason why. Snasky, sickest arms in EU, Sicky, and Continuum. All teams that have played in top 16. Continuum played for Air Reality, and they just missed out when they did their open quals. I mean, you saw Sicky was Precision Z. They were at LAN finals. And then Snasky's a playoff team. So a lot of potential on this team. Snasky, I haven't been seen playing as much as he used to. I haven't seen him streaming as much as he used to either. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe he is actually just playing a lot more offline. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these guys come together. But there is a lot of potential on their team. They also don't have specific players listed as subs with Mout and Farah. But I can almost guarantee Continuum, Sicky, and Snasky are going to be your starters.
No, that's a really solid team. And again, still above Parhelion for me. Not to poop on Parhelion right now. But and again, Shadow's just letting us know that this isn't in any particular order. Right. They're just throwing them on here as it came to mind. But Continuum, Sicky, Sicky is such a strong player. Honestly, like he grew up fast on the field, man. From being a support to when he's needed on his last team there, he was just going on. Like, he was being the offensive drive they needed. And I didn't expect to see that out of Sicky, you know? So I'm really excited to see what this team can do. Again, another Supersonic Avenger landed on this team. And then we have our next one with our last Supersonic Avenger, Velocitas. Velocitas?
Velocitas.
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 No.
Velocitas.
Still no.
The roster, ELMP, Mike Rules, and Pauly Paul. That's solid. And again, so we see Mike Rules once again trying to get into the comp. And we saw him last time with Good Morning.
Before we even get into this team, happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Mike is 22.
We got our Coke and our apple juice. Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday to Mike Rules. Love that man. He's 22 today.
But with that, he's got a team now. And they got to the top 16. They were so freaking close to getting to the top 8.
They were really fun to watch.
They were so fun because you know what? They're having fun with the game, and I think that's what this team needs. I mean, you have ELMP coming from Supersonic Avengers, where they had fun. Their comms were freaking fantastic. And then you have Mike Rules, who's just been doing his best to just have fun with everything lately. Right. And we saw it with Good Morning. And then Pauly Paul is a solid player to bring up that other end. Honestly, this is going to be a fun team to watch. Top 16 for sure. Right. These guys will blast past everyone else.
Mike is one of those players that for sure is like you can't ignore him. Like obviously he hasn't been playing, but he's still been streaming a lot, so like the mechanics are still fresh.
He's got fundamentals that are always going to be there. You know?
Right.
But I think these guys, for a top 16 spot or top 8 spot, is going to be a fight. Absolutely. I don't know. Would you put them above or below Leftovers and Tablecloth?
I don't know. I haven't seen Mike and ELMP play together.
Yeah, based off just like what I'm seeing from the rosters from paper, maybe a little bit under a chance from Tablecloth and Leftovers. Either way, regardless, I'm looking forward to casting them because they're going to be a hell of a fun team to watch.
For sure. Last one, Tzedek. Zed, like the letter Z?
Like the letter Zed?
Like the letter Z?
You like the rest of the world says Zed?
Yeah, Tzedek.
That's also an X.
Yeah, no, but you said it's Tzedek.
Yeah, Tzedek. Like xylophone.
Like Zed. Like Z.
Like Zed. Like Zed's dead, baby.
Sure. XN, Neilsock, Dan Zizzle, and Zenzes. Dan tried playing with Gubry and the other one. I forget the name of their team already. But they like played together and then they split apart. Dan's in chat. Dan, what are your thoughts?
You know, I'm not gonna lie. Dan Zizzle is like the only one that really stands out to me on that team.
Yeah.
Like Zenzis and Neilskolk.
They beat Makid yesterday.
Neilskolk. I don't see this team making a top. Maybe top 16, but I don't see them making a top 8 at all.
I mean, they beat Makid yesterday.
True, I guess, but again, honeymoon phase.
And then they lost.
I mean, look at where they're considered though. Still a 12th place, like bubble team. Can they keep it up?
I mean, I wouldn't say that's where they're considered, considering like they've only played in qualifiers and never together. Like Zensis and Niels played together on Cownose. But they haven't played with Dan. So maybe Dan's the puzzle piece they're looking for.
I'm just looking forward to see. You know what? I want these guys to make top 8 because I want to see all these guys try to pronounce these names.
It's Zen and Neil.
You know what the best thing ever hearing you guys try to do was say Zed forcefully on air when someone in the chat said it's Precision Zed. And then all of you guys...
And he was wrong.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it was fan-friggin-tastic. Because I saw these Americans...
You also were like, yeah, it's totally Precision Zed. I know. And then we're like, you were wrong the whole time.
I know.
You fuck.
No, they say Zed in EU, but the team is Precision Z. It was one of the like... It was a small victory seeing all the Americans try to say Zed.
God damn it.
Thanks, Laffy.
You're the worst. All right, honorable mentions. Small Town Girls, my favorite name. Wonder if they're living in a lonely world. Sorry for that terrible joke. My name's Wave Punk.
Hey, to be fair, I did a Bon Jovi one in the finals.
Yeah, true. But for next, Jakey Poo and Tylacto. Tylacto is probably the player I'm most familiar with on this squad. I don't know how these guys are going to prepare. Currently, Thor is giving them a number 10 in the current PR ranking. But one of those teams that I don't know how they're going to. I honestly don't. The only one out of all these next couple teams is probably Pentagram that I'm confident in.
Actually, so I've actually seen Copenhagen Flames play before. Me and Shogun had a great pun game on that. That was you guys should go back and watch that cast. It was during the Leaf League. That was really fun. Copenhagen Flames. They seem to perform so like they had their moments. Like they suddenly started fighting against good teams out of nowhere, but it was super inconsistent. Bake and Waffle, which now makes me hungry, were solid players together. Huh?
I broke it. Sorry, guys.
Saxon was actually playing for them. And honestly, I think it was Saxon that was the answer. And I don't know why Saxon's a sub, in all honesty. Unless Abiogand is really good. I just haven't seen him play. It's really hard for me to like actually comment on these guys because I haven't seen him play. But I have seen Copenhagen Flames play. Top 8, no.
Well, you said it best. After I finally fixed it. Boom. God, Precision Z, go away. There you go. Those are your honorable mentions. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. These teams are the ones that have a chance. Like Pentagram for me.
Pentagram
like,
is the most out of them.
Yeah, like they have Data who used to play for. He was a sub for Mike, but before he played for like NG or something. I forget the name, but it was Data, Seeks, and Reganom were on that team. They were like the team that, or RG, that was it.
Yeah.
RG came in and was like, oh God, who are these
Out of
guys?
freaking nowhere.
Yeah. So, lot of stuff between all those teams. Last but not least, we're going to talk about OCE.
Well, Planet Key Dynamics, I've seen them play too, but yeah,
Yes.
no, not a top 8.
No. Like, one of these, like, these teams obviously have potential, but they definitely need to prove that they can make it. Let's see if I can find it.
OCE power rankings. All right, so if you guys haven't noticed, we're going to do our final one. OCE finally got brought in. These guys have been running tournaments. They've had LANs. They have been a persistent region. I've casted a lot of their games in the past. I'd love to start doing some more. But these guys have been giving it for a while. Now,
Just giving her bud.
Just giving her bud.
Just giving her bud. Fucking Canadians.
Not quite fast, just fast enough.
Cringe.
But anyways, they've had a few teams that have always kind of been there. And I honestly think there are about maybe 4 teams that could compete with around the bottom half NA. Top 2 teams maybe could fight in that 3 to 6 spot for NA. But the thing I think that they're lacking most, and I stick by this theory for so much, is that these guys haven't grown up around a sport that plays like Rocket League. And I honestly think the regions that do, EU, NA, hockey, soccer, or football, sorry, is they have that fundamental. They've grown up watching those sports that play like Rocket League. Rocket League plays a lot like hockey, especially in its rotations. And I think when it comes down to
wow,
it,
that is super old. That's
I think this team or these teams don't have that. You don't have those kind of sports in OC.
Atletico's not a team anymore. It's no jam and stuff.
And I think that's why mechanically these guys are insane. When I watch their games, there are a lot of times positionally, I'm like, what are you doing, guys? They fixed up a lot of that because now they have the resources to watch NA. They have the resources to watch EU, and they're learning from it. And I think OCE is becoming a stronger region because of it, but we have yet to see them really play against, without a 300 ping, any of these other teams. Now, Abyss Esports is one of those teams. I think they recently lost Adzi. So if you guys are unfamiliar with OCE, you may as well pay attention now because we're going to show you the teams that you're guaranteed going to be seeing.
Right. EU is like super telegraphed in what teams are going to make it through. Like there's 4, maybe 5 teams that like stand a true chance.
It's pretty guaranteed at this point. Abyss plays a lot in NA, so you may have seen them before. They play with 250 ping, and they beat a lot of teams. Just of course, when you get against those top teams, it gets a little bit harder. Right. But these are the teams. Once Lawler configures life out here, we'll show you who it is. I guess we'll go down in order. So Jam used to be Atletico, correct?
Yeah.
And
so
before that, they were after that they were Uno Mas.
Yeah. So they were Atletico, picked up. They were and have been the #1 team for a long time. Dropped Atletico, became Uno Mas, and then Jam just picked them up. Players that you should know if you don't already: Snarf and Bango. Like one of the top Like the major players, Torsos, Snarf, Bango, Dumbo, and then there's a couple other ones from like Alpha Sydney, like Drippe, Express. Yeah,
Express is from Abyss. He's a really solid player. Again, Adzi, another strong one. There's a few you'll see as we go through this. But again, these guys, Jam Gaming, been near the top for a while. Snarf, Bango, Monty Connor. These guys are probably going to be one of your teams, one of your wild cards, making it in from OCE. Again, not much to say if you haven't been seeing them play, but again, I think they're starting a lot to really fix up their rotation game, their position game. Right. Mechanically, all of these players are nuts. I played against Dumbo. He came to the Lien in RLCS Season 2. Guy's nuts. Like, he's so strong as a player. Like, it's weird. It's not even just like they're fast or they're quick. They're strong. Like, Dumbo is a strong player, and I think that's probably a quality that's going to be good and unique to OCE once they do get the experience against NA and EU in a LAN environment. But we're really not going to know until they're there. But these are the teams you're going to watch out for. So Jam Gaming off the bat, Snarf, Bango, Monty Connor.
Right. Before we get super deep into the teams, for those that are asking as well, is how is OCE going to be introduced into the RLCS? If you guys actually check out my part 2 video of like the S3 announcement stuff, if you go to !social, go to the YouTube, there's a current events kind of like section in the playlist. There's a part 2 about season 3 that talks about all OCE update stuff. And it basically mentions that bracket-wise, they're going to be doing their own separate like broadcast with their teams. The top 2 will go to LAN. That's kind of the most simplistic way of explaining it. The 2 major ones that you're probably going to be looking that are going, Jam Gaming, and then the next one, Alpha Sydney.
So Alpha Sydney, again, one of those teams. Alpha Sydney's kind of flopped around.
Yep.
Here and there.
Oh, Sandcastle's moved up. Nice.
All these teams have gone through different roster changes. But as you said, Torsos, Jake the Tyrant, and Drippe. Jake the Tyrant's been around for a long time, as long as Drippe. I've known those guys. You said you've been really onto Torsos.
Yeah, Torsos has a very interesting playstyle. He plays like super fast in ones, but then like he'll slow it down when he needs to, and it actually like abuses him. Like for some reason he doesn't know to keep up the pace when it's working, and then he gets complacent, and then he gets beat. Like it's really weird. He played against Dumbo in that tournament, and it was interesting to say the least. It was also 4 a.m., so my brain was kind of like, but Liefx is also one of those players for Sandcastle that doesn't get enough credit. Like all the players in like your top 3 like OCE teams are like the major ones you should pay attention to. You really should.
And speaking of Sandcastle, so this is a team I'm actually watching out for right now. Sandcastle, I was just talking about him, Dumbo, and then AOEMP and Liefx have been there since I casted months ago. Some of these guys, and Liefx was actually one of those players that was subbing in for a team. They just had thrown a team together for a tournament, and he was holding the team. I'm like, holy crap, Liefx! Like this guy's a solid player. And now he gets to play with Dumbo and AOEMP. Yeah. All 3 very solid players that you all need to be watching out for. My OCE team to watch out for is Sandcastle for sure.
Yeah, you got people in chat saying that Sandcastle, 2 things. Just got picked up by Atletico, and 2, they're like the iris of OCE. Very, very fast. A lot of rotation base, just constant pressure.
And then I like this. One more. Kind of, I think that was a play on the Uno Mas name. One more is the 4th team on their PR. They now have, so that was the old Express team, I think, or sorry, Abyss. So they had again, Express was one of those players. He was one of the first players I was actually ever introduced to in OC, and he's so good. Is this more updated one now? Or?
This is the brand new one. This one shows the pickup with Atletico.
Okay, perfect.
Shoutouts to all you guys in the back end. Obviously, you guys are helping us out as we're doing this too on the fly. Cloudfield, as always, thank you, as well as all you.
Hey, guys. I called it. Look, Sandcastle's moving up.
Yep.
I called it. They're the team to watch out for right now. So Atletico, no longer called Sandcastles, apparently. Atletico, yeah. Welcome to NA, man. This is nothing compared to that. No. But Athletic, at least there's 4 teams we have to pay attention to. So yeah, look at that. Atletico moving up to 2nd. Keep an eye out on those 3 players, man. They are solid. Cyrix, though, I think he's actually been chilling with us in chat. Cyrix has always been a solid player. Stoney, You guys may know Stoney. Stoney was the first official Rocketeer in Rocket League. He has a title because of it. He's been out to both the lands. He's been there. He's been since the beginning. Stoney's been there and a solid player. And Express coming from Abyss. That's a solid lineup as well. And you can see as they moved up. And didn't I call it before? Alpha Sydney has been flip-flopping through the rut. And I feel that's going to be an issue, them coming into RLCS. Some of these, there's some other good players down at the bottom that you're scrolling down to, but I think your top ones are really going to be Atletico now.
The only one that I would say, like Legacy, which you see up on the screen, like Enigma's always been really solid. Groovy Grape is just probably my favorite.
Groovy Grape's amazing
cast ever. But Corvidae is like my team to watch out for.
You think?
They've been on the rise. Sicky Days, other Sicky, not the one that we have in EU.
Corvidae is a solid team. You're right.
Yeah, Corvidae is one of those teams that like. They're very similar to the team that's right above them, as it says in like the little write-up, but they're trying to find like their identity, and as they get like more playtime, the better they look. So it'll be interesting. I really like their team though.
Yeah, and again, you drop down, you have all your other teams in these, in the PR for OCE. I don't want to be rude or anything to say, but
just be straightforward with it.
You don't need to pay attention to these teams. They don't stand a chance against the top 4 or 5 even. Jam Gaming, Atletico, one more, Alpha Sydney, Legacy Esports, and Corvidae. I mean, I don't even know if I'd... Groovy Grape's a solid player, but...
Enigma's pretty good.
Again, these are the teams you really have to pay attention to. You don't have to worry about these guys.
I pay attention to the top 6 for sure.
Don't even try to remember them. These are the guys. If it's a top 2 slot, let's pick it now. Let's make our projections. Who are your top 2 picks coming out of OCE?
Jam Atletico.
Jam Atletico?
Yeah.
This is tough because I really think this team could solidly pull up.
Well, it's simply because of their consistency in play.
Yeah. Jam Atletico, I guess I'll have to. If a runner-up.
One more.
Runner-up's one more. Honestly, this PR is